This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Rock, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Oh shit, they can see that. Whoa, what up, no? It is a Tuesday, and yeah, I was just vibing to that music you was listening to, but this is Knockouts and 3 Counts, high damn it, and it's almost time for me to go to Vegas. You know the drill. If you're watching right now, like I said, sound off in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. I appreciate you. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yeah, man, like I said, a few days till we get to go to Vegas. We've got some things to talk about from over the weekend. What up, though, Donald? Donald has already been letting us know he's got some fire coming our way. So I'm ready. I'm ready for you, man. But yeah, dude, I'm really looking forward to getting out and going to Vegas this weekend. I'm really looking forward to Double or Nothing. I think Double or Nothing is going to be a badass show. My Bret Hart jersey got here today, so high damn it.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to be the best looking motherfucker there ever was, there ever will be. High damn it. I'm dropping sharpshooters for any motherfucker in Vegas right now. Just saying.
Oh, shit.
How are you guys doing today?
You know, man. You know. What day is this? Tuesday?
Thursday.
I'm getting lost in the week. I'm just counting down the minutes till we get on the flight to Vegas. I'm ready to get the hell out of here.
I bet.
Dude,
I know that feeling. I haven't been on a vacation in a long time, but just anticipation in general, right? When you're so close to it, but it's like that you got that like last week of work, last week of this, that, and trying to just wrap everything up. Make sure you're not forgetting shit on your end. You know, it's like the juggling act.
I guess I should
I'm
start
doing
packing
good.
soon, huh?
Huh?
I guess we should start packing soon, huh?
You know, see, this is the good thing with us leaving Friday, though, is like, see, my off day for the week is Thursday. So what we're going to do is, see, I'm going to go home, wait till Thursday. I'll do it on Thursday when I'm off, and we'll call it a day. See, because I got a feeling that, you know, my debit card, that Debbie, she's a whore. So I feel like on Thursday, I might have to go get me some Vegas attire. For those of you who are watching, what kind of shit should I go buy to go wear down to Vegas? We'll have to see.
You gonna let them dress you?
I didn't say I was gonna let anybody dress me.
That could be fun. Look, come on, pick Kyle's wardrobe, guys.
Well, since you're going too, they got to pick yours too.
Yeah, they can't find my size.
Come on, Kyle. You got to get that. You got to get that floral button up. Leave that top unbuttoned.
Oh, dude, I'm totally going and buying a couple button ups because shout out to the homie Johnny at the Nerd Bar in Vegas. I will definitely be at the Nerd Bar in Vegas. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back out there. It's going to be a damn good time. We're going to be at Rampage Friday night. We're going to be at Double or Nothing Sunday night. Maybe hitting that GCW show on Saturday. Might have to run into past guest of the show, Gringo Loco. You know, see what he's got going on. Damn. If you're going to GCW, take some flame retardant, coach. Damn. I got to be careful of them super kicks, huh?
Donald, man.
Donald wants to smoke. You know what? Hot damn it. Horse Slam versus GCW. I want to see Donald Holland versus Brett Lauderdale here in Detroit. Hot damn it. Book it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean,
I respect for somebody that tries so hard to have so many branches of the tree kind of spread in wrestling. For that, he still definitely goes online and talks that shit how he feels.
Hey.
Like, it will tag companies and, like, you know, try to, you know, go for what he feels is right, and I can't argue with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
you're not wrong, dude. Like I said, Donald's good people over here. He goes, I won't give Brett a penny. He said, I won't give Brett a penny. Well, you give him that 1-2 piece, though.
Yeah, give him
bang, bang.
Get in there, kick his ass.
Kick his ass, sea bass. But yeah, man, we're like I said, we're gonna have to see what we get into. Definitely gonna look into linking up with the homie Gringo Loco. We had a great chat with him, man, about all the crazy shit that he had going on from the first time he told that story about his heart and all that stuff. So if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, make sure you share it and let a friend know. Yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about. So as far as the wrestling goes, we finally got what I thought we all thought we were going to get at WrestleMania Backlash, and that's we finally got the tag team title unification match, in which the Usos are now your undisputed tag team champions. Which, although I'm a fan of RK Bro, I mean, I can't really argue that the Usos are the right people to have the titles, but I mean, from all reports, it sounds like Randy might be taking a break for a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think is next for RK Bro out of this? And what did you think out of that match, J-Bone?
Well, so is that legit? Because I was reading some stuff. Like, is that why he's taking time off? Is because of an injury or something?
I haven't heard anything concrete as far as an injury, but I mean, I know he said for a while that he was going to kind of back down his schedule a little bit.
Right on.
So, like I say, I don't know if it's just he wants to take some time or he's hurt. I mean,
he's a vet, dude. I mean, that guy's been around for a long time. You got to give him his credit.
Fuck the Usos, damn.
Oh boy. As far as the match, though, that was a banger of a match, I thought. Dude.
I mean, I didn't expect anything less.
I was kind of surprised that it wasn't on a pay-per-view, but I mean, I get why it was on, Fox and SmackDown and all that, but kind of surprised we didn't get that on the old premium live event. But all in all, great match. The Usos, man, I mean, love them or hate them, dude. You can't deny they're probably the best tag team around. You know what I mean? In WWE anyway, and have been for the past few years. But I'm curious to see what they're gonna do, going forward, because tag team division suffers, dude. So to have a unified tag teams going back and forth, like who are they going to be feuding with? I don't really know. Maybe the Street Profits or something. But as far as RK Bro, I'm hoping this opens the door for Riddle to get in line for the title shot, man. Kind of launch him into his singles run, and hopefully he has a good run because he's very entertaining. He needs to be on TV. You know what I mean? Regardless of the Randy Orton situation. So,
well,
I can't argue that.
It's definitely a hell of a springboard, right? To have done so much work with Orton and to kind of gain that amount of fame and the WWE diehards' eyes that that he did really well. I heard nothing but great things about them as a tag team. So it is a great springboard for him to get into a singles career. And honestly, with the Orton thing, I'm not necessarily surprised because he has been super active. I mean, he defended his titles a bunch and was, for the most part, it seemed like very included in the week-to-week, runnings of the WWE. And to keep up with that schedule, you've heard it a million times. These guys are always beat up and bruised up. So it doesn't really surprise me, being that he's on his second, his career resurgence, and to have to take some time after, doing what he was able to do over the last, couple of years.
Yeah. Dude,
so do you think this is going to be the springboard for, Riddle to go like full singles? Do you think with the way that went and with Roman getting involved, do you think Riddle is going to be the next one to go at Roman? I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. Donald throwing up in the comments, best tag team is the Young Bucks and the Briscoes. I can't argue that. How are you feeling about the Young Bucks versus the Hardys at Double or Nothing? I mean, I don't know. I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing that one. What do you think about that one, Donald? But yeah, man,
all the best tag teams are like not in WWE. You know what I mean? Like you would think they would produce besides the Usos, you got to give it to them. Usos anywhere else, they're top tier.
Usos are right up there, dude.
Yeah, but it's just weird. Like, man, there's so much good tag team wrestling. It's just not in WWE. You know what I mean? FTR, look at FTR. You know what I mean?
I think that doesn't necessarily boil down to the team so much. It boils down to the spotlight that WWE chooses to point, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and it's weird because back in the 90s and even the early 2000s, the tag team division was big. That was a big thing for wrestling on TV. To have tag team championships and tag team title
Outlaws, the Dudleys, right? Edge and Christian, the Hardys, like I just mentioned,
the Avenue and the Attitude Era. There was, you go all the way back to the 80s. There was tag team matches headlining SummerSlam. You know what I mean? Like it was the Mega Powers versus. You know what I mean? It was crazy. It's weird. I don't know. Like I mean, I guess would Big Money Vince be the guy that we can blame for that? But
well,
it's weird
I
to see
think what a
today.
lot of it is if you think about it over the years, I mean, WWE's never really put. I think what Corey said has a lot of weight to it, but at the same time, you got to think like WWE's never really been like a tag team place. They've always really been about the singles. Where AEW, on the other hand, as soon as they came out with the Bucks being VPs, there said right off rip, like tag team wrestling will be a focus here.
Yeah,
and when you think about it, I mean, look at okay. So if we stop and think right now, here's all the tag teams in WWE that I can name off the top of my head. You've got the Usos, you got RK Bro, you got the Angel Garza and Carrillo. You've got I guess I don't
Street
know if
Profits.
Edge and Street Profits were who I was going to say next, but Edge and Priest don't really count. You've got Ziggler and Rude. You got the Viking Raiders. So put it this way, you've got less than 10 teams.
I was about to say
You've got less than 10 teams. Now, let's talk about AEW for a second. We're getting ready to go to Double or Nothing, which, if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are going to be doing a vlog of our whole trip down to Vegas. And hopefully, we're going to be joined by our buddy Ryan McKinnell of Busted Open this Thursday to make some picks. But with that being said, you've got the triple threat match for the tag titles. You got Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus is it Pentagon and Phoenix are in it?
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Hobbs and Starks, and who's the third one?
Keith Lee and Swerve.
And then you've also got the tag match between the Hardys and the Bucks too.
Yeah,
and then you've got FTR versus shit. Who are they facing for the Ring of Honor titles?
I can't think right now.
My point is,
And so
we're talking about
that's
three high caliber matches on one card alone.
And that's already six total tag teams.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
right? And that's what I'm getting at, right? We just mentioned
the new up and coming tag team, Hookhausen, bro. Come on, don't forget Hookhausen. That's going to be the new big time.
Send Hookhausen. What are your guys' thoughts on Hookhausen? Let's see. What do we got in the comments? I like it, but the same as it would have been 5 years ago. He's talking about the Hardys and the Bucks. A lot of tag teams are organically made, and WWE doesn't let shit happen organically. I mean, you're not wrong, dude.
And that's I didn't really get to spit out that point. It had slipped my mind at that moment, but that's what I was wondering with the Matt Riddle thing is like which direction does WWE want to lead him in? We can talk all we want about, singles and him making a run and stuff like that. But if they just want to see him work that field that he's been successful in up to this point and continue in the tag team stuff, it wouldn't, they could definitely slide in a new partner, build up a new story. And here we are, again.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be good though.
I think Riddle. I've heard nothing but good things from them.
Yeah. I mean, just think like
they have high hopes for him. I mean, the guy has taken everything that they've given him so far and gotten it over to the end. So I think
if he takes on Roman, and then he's not going to beat Roman. Let's be honest. I just can't see that happening.
Who knows? Maybe he does take it off him for a little bit.
Nah,
I don't think it's going to be. I think the size discrepancy. I don't think it would.
The size discrepancy isn't as much as you think, though, because when you see them next to each other,
Riddle's a big dude.
I was gonna say he's not as small as people take him to be. He looks smaller than some of them.
I don't know. I mean, because I know a lot of people say like, "Hey, maybe we take it off Roman for the summer." I know he's got a different schedule and all, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like they're building something bigger with that. Like that thing's gonna go.
I mean, I would like him to hold on to it till WrestleMania because that's another thing that we got to talk about. Okay. What are your, I don't know if Riddle takes it off him, but this is a perfect springboard to put him in the main event picture because now you just had the thing and Roman cost them the tag titles and he's basically trying to avenge Randy. And then if by some chance he does win the belt, then if Randy wants to go back heel, he turns on Riddle and then you got Riddle versus Randy because I think you're still going to get Riddle versus Randy at some point.
See, I think it's going to happen a different way though. I think Randy's going to somehow turn on Riddle. Maybe maybe even
Right.
around
That's
that
what I'm
time
saying.
frame,
If
you know what I
think
mean?
about it, if Riddle wins the belt,
Yeah.
Randy don't give a fuck. He wants to
The
break.
built-in
He wants to
story,
break
that's
that
for sure.
record. Yeah.
I mean, I just think Roman's got so much more to do. You gotta take on Riddle.
Oh no, I agree. I'm not saying I think it's the way to go, or even that I think it's going to happen. But I'm just saying that it's a way that they can springboard him in. I honestly would love to see him hold it till next WrestleMania, because that's another thing to talk about. You know, it's being reported that The Rock has his whole schedule is open in spring 2020. So I don't know.
All right, so let me ask you this though, Kyle. Let me ask you this, and anybody in the comments want to chime in on this. So, if you're booking this, if you are in charge of building Roman Reigns, the superstar Roman Reigns, where he's at right now, and you still got the whole summer, you got to get through Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. You give him Riddle, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. Got to face Cody Rhodes eventually, and that hopefully that's around Survivor Series or something. Then what?
Cody says he sees.
Cody says
Cody's going to win the title.
And then The Rock comes back at what? Royal Rumble, wins the Rumble, takes on at WrestleMania. What happens there? Do you give that belt to The Rock and say he's better than Roman? Or do you keep building Roman? Now Roman has beat the Great One. What does that do for your company? Because Roman's not going anywhere. If anything, he's just going to become bigger, and he's going to be like the Brock Lesnar-esque type of superstar. So do you book it for The Rock to take that belt at WrestleMania?
I couldn't imagine it myself, because to your point, why build up all this to have somebody, as much as The Rock is The Rock and he's as famous as could be, and he's built himself to just basically worldwide, you can just say The Rock and people will
he's
know
the
who you're
Great
talking
One.
about.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I guess I could potentially see something along those lines, but realistically, for the WWE nature of it all, I don't see them making that move, even though it would be shocking and stuff like that. I don't see them making that move. If anything, to your point, it just legitimizes their current champ. It's like, oh, look at this guy because he beat so, and so. And, that's why he's worthy of this, lengthy title run that he's been on. Yeah.
I mean, to answer the question, I think we're getting The Rock at WrestleMania. I definitely think that's where we're ultimately headed.
It's been rumored for a long time, right?
Right, but I mean, the thing is, though, with The Rock, nothing's ever guaranteed, because I mean, that guy is like the busiest SOB period. That being said, I think that's where we're going to go. But I mean, even if, let's say, The Rock beats him at WrestleMania, if that's where we're going, ultimately, especially with their history and them being family and all this stuff, this is just one big thing for The Rock to be able to come in and put Roman over and make him an even bigger star. So, like I say, I don't necessarily think him winning or losing at WrestleMania is going to be such the big thing for Roman, because I think ultimately, I think it's to put him over. So either he's winning at WrestleMania, or if it goes past that, or, if they have matches leading up to it, whatever, maybe that's where The Rock wins. But I don't know. Like I say, I think that's where we're going. I think that's where we need to go as far as who could he go against between now and then to kind of like fill that out. I mean, the number one out of that, I think Riddle will get a shot at him, especially after the way the tag title thing went. I think Drew McIntyre is going to get another run at him with the way they were doing that, and especially with the fact that when he was champion, there was no real fans around, so he never really got any of the perks of that. So I think he'll get another shot at him. And then again, the other thing you got to figure into that is, I mean, like we've also heard Roman say, he said it at that live event the other day, that from now on, he's not going to be at a lot of these smaller shows. So that could mean that you don't necessarily see him defend the title as much. But I agree with the general consensus that, probably like once every 30 days is a good thing for him. But I definitely think going towards the thing with The Rock is definitely where we're headed. Theory is honestly being groomed to be the man. If being honest with ourselves, I say next year. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We have been talking the praises of Austin Theory for a long time. Austin Theory's Past Guest Show. Well, again, another reason to hit that subscribe button. You can go over there and check that out. Won us a few beers, even though the man doesn't partake in the alcohol. But with that being said, Austin Theory, dude, Austin Theory's been a blue chip. Always has been.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I was seeing him in Evolve and all these other places, like, dude, that kid looks like money, smells like money. You know, the guy is buddied up with Vince McMahon, so he's probably, you know, asking him to slip him a few hundreds in that allowance of it, you know. Maybe Vince went
you off with his smile, his little selfie thing. He does this annoying little smile. That guy knows how.
Hey, bro.
He goes.
He said Austin Theory. Hey, man. Like I said, we rock with Theory. Theory's been good to us. Go back and check out that conversation. But I don't know, man. I think with him being latched at the hip, though, of Vinnie Mac, Austin Theory is going to be still smelling like new money. And if you want to be smelling like that new money, go hook up with our friends over at G3 Payroll and Tax. Jack will get you together. He got me together. That's why I'm going to be sitting pretty when we get down to Vegas. Get me one of them margaritas. We going to be walking the strip. It's going to be a good time, and I ain't going to be slinging the damn letter. So make sure you hit that link in the description. Go check out G3 and tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. But, yeah, man. Another thing that we were talking about, you know, getting money together and all that, you know, when you're getting money, you get them good haircuts, you know, and you said you didn't like Edge's haircut. So I want to know, what are your guys' thoughts on Judgment Day, dude? I personally enjoyed the shit out of what we've seen so far from Judgment Day. I'm not ever mad at Rhea Ripley being on my TV more. And that being said, I mean, I feel like it's only going to help Priest too. So what are your thoughts on Judgment Day, J-Bone?
I like it, man. It's I don't know. I've always been into like the whole factions thing. You know what I mean? So who better than Edge to be, you know, the head of that? That guy, anything he touches turns to gold. And the fact that it's like dark and like, it's like the Brood, man. It reminds me of the Brood.
I still say they should have been called the New Brood, but
right. I wouldn't be mad at that. But I think he's got the perfect two up and comers in there. But there's rumor of what another person, right? So,
well, and that's a question for everybody that's watching. You know, do you guys want to see anybody else added to this? Like, I mean, like I was saying before we went live, like I like what we have right now in the 3-piece, but I wouldn't be opposed to somebody else being added. But I think at this point, if you're going to add anybody else, you've got to be really selective of who you're going to pick for this one. Absolutely. Like it's got to be somebody that fits the vibe, needs to be able to match that, and like somebody that is believable that he or she is going to be a force in Judgment Day. Like I said, I like it so far, man, but it's like I said, I got no problem with it, and I'm still digging that song too.
Who do you think it could be? Who do you got in mind for it? Both of you guys.
Okay, go ahead, Corey.
I was gonna say, I know you guys have both, like, we've had definitely mixed opinions, right, when it comes to factions. Like, we've had different thoughts when it comes to like what AEW's directions have been with factions, and just general conversation that we've had about them. There's been highs and lows, and I feel like that's, to your point, Kyle. I don't know if you necessarily should add anybody, because you got to be very selective, because at a certain, there's like, it either is really good or it's really bad, in my opinion. And I feel like if you already have a good thing going, unless you can guarantee that that's going to add to the experience, you don't need to take away from it yet. You know what I mean?
I hear that. I mean, as far as what you asked me, as far as who I'd like to see, the number one name that I've heard that's been thrown around that would make sense to me is, if they are going to add anybody else, I feel like Finn Balor could easily fit into that. Like if that's what they're gonna do, especially with you know, the demon character that he's got and all that. So if you're going to add anybody else, I could see that. It would be interesting to see what happens if they're gonna add you know, they keep throwing out Liv Morgan, but to be honest, you ask who I would like to see in there. You know, Edge has been throwing this stuff out on his social media at possible names that could do it. You know, they keep talking about him being cleared. I'd like to see Corey Graves in it.
Sleeper pick, huh? I like that.
Fuck yeah. I would really like to see Corey Graves in it, dude, because I was a big fan of his stuff before he got hurt. I've said multiple times on this show that I'm a big fan of his work, and hot damn it, we got to shoot the shit in Dallas going up the elevator and told him how we've been rocking with his little big brother Sam Adonis for quite a long time. You know, he's got the same syndrome as you and Brian. Yeah, man, if Corey Graves is really back, I feel like he would be fucking great for that. And it would be somebody that nobody's expecting. But if it's not him and it's just a name that's out there, I think Finn would be like the perfect foil for that.
I think both of which were very good points. I didn't have a direct name for you. That's why I kind of let Kyle take the lead on that one. But I feel as though the best direction you can go if you are going to go that direction of adding somebody is, to your point, Kyle, somebody who is either coming back from injury is like really the perfect equation, because then you're going to have that built-in hype of like, okay, dude's back, girl's back, whatever the case be. You know, so-and-so is back, and that brings its own hype train, you know, involved. But, or somebody who's kind of been playing, somebody who's been kind of really great when given the opportunity, but maybe doesn't get the spotlight that they deserve. That could also be the direction that I feel as though would be, you know, something that could garner the deeper fanfare, I guess you could say, you know.
I know a guy that's like that who doesn't get, you know, he's really good when he's on TV, but he doesn't get the praise he deserves. Tommaso Ciampa.
They've said Ciampa. Ciampa's name's been thrown out. I mean, dude, I would not be mad at that at all, because I'm going to be honest with you, from what I've seen from Ciampa being up there so far, I pray to God that they don't ruin him.
Yeah. I think that was the worry initially too, right? Because wasn't there rumblings before?
I mean, that's why he was one of the ones that always said he didn't want to go up from NXT.
Yeah, he was concerned the way they would use him. So here we are.
And to your point, you know, to my own point, I guess, both of you guys got excited with just even the thought of like, okay, somebody who's underutilized, you know, like who could we fill that slot with that would actually, like, you know, make the hardcores clap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think your suggestion with Ciampa would be dope. I think Corey Graves would be dope because it would be something that nobody was expecting. And I mean, I don't know, dude. I've seen Corey Graves cut promos, and I feel like you give that guy a mic, you hear the stuff he says on commentary as it is. You give him a mic and let him. I mean, like I said, I was really becoming a fan of his when I saw him in NXT before he got hurt. So I'd really like to see if they are going to add somebody. I think those are the names that I would, I personally would go for. All right. So obviously, you know, we all know that what's been going down with the Sasha and Naomi thing. I don't have any more like concrete evidence to anything other than that at this point it's clear to say that it's not a work, I would say, almost, because I mean WWE just continues to double down, like having Michael Cole read that statement, and you know, every show since then they've brought that up on commentary. I don't know, man. And now you hear that Sasha and Naomi both, you know, removed anything affiliated with WWE from their Twitter and all that stuff too. So, like, I don't know, man. What do you think about this, dude? And what do you think best case scenario is at this point?
It just gets stranger and stranger, to be honest, because like it's just weird for them to make all these comments, like especially on TV, and that's what makes me think it's a work when they say all that stuff on TV.
And
it's like because they don't do that, you know what I mean? And if they are doing that, let's just say they are doing that, shame on them, dude. That's not professional to sit there and say all that shit. Granted, it wasn't professional for them to walk out. I get it completely. You're under contract. You need to do your work. That's just how it is. That's the bottom line. But to bash them because they can't defend themselves right now. They can't go on TV and say this is why. They can't. They can go on Twitter, but it's probably going to be a huge fucking shit show, right? Or maybe they can't. I don't know. What the hell? I don't know what the obligations are and what you can and can't do on social media for them. But if they're bashing them on TV, calling them unprofessional, and saying all this shit and making all these statements, shame on them. I would definitely ask for my release because that is the utmost unprofessional thing you can do is bash somebody in public when they can't defend themselves.
Yeah. What catch me up? What kind of things were being said on the broadcast that besides just
they literally in the last 3 episodes of they had Michael Cole read this long ass prepared thing about how it was unprofessional and how they were scheduled to be in the main event and this was what it was supposed to be and they decided that they weren't going to show up and deliver this to the point where WWE even put out a thing saying WWE is a scripted TV show scripted I seen the initial first day and a half's worth of posts and stuff, but after the fact, you say they're still bringing them up on multiple broadcasts. What's being said up at this point are still the same. Still the unprofessional stuff, and that there's going to be a tournament to crown new women's tag team champions. But other than that, I mean, it's really been
with all the tag. I posted that on Twitter. With what tag teams? Who are you going to pair up? To make the titles legitimate for what? What are you just gonna a wild card type of tag team tournament?
The only thing that makes any sense out of from what you've heard, and again, this is all hearsay and speculation, but I mean, we've heard that it was supposed to be a 6-pack challenge match, and the winner was supposed to be the next one to face Bianca Belair for the women's championship. The only thing that would make any sense to me is if they wanted, maybe they wanted. Naomi to pin Sasha or vice versa, and they didn't want to do that being tag champs. But again, I don't know. I don't we don't know enough of it. Like I say, that's all hearsay. I mean, where do you think this ends up? What do you think the best case scenario is?
If it's a work, man, then they'll obviously get them back in there somehow, some kind of controversy thing. If it's not,
do you think it's a work or not?
Right now, I'm gonna have to lead towards yes. Only because of the stuff that we hear on TV. That's just not like WWE to be acknowledging that stuff. For me personally, I hope it's not because I want to see if I had to pick between the two of them, I want to see Sasha go somewhere else, dude. I think her talent, she's so good, and her talent, she's still untapped potential because the way she's used. Because she should be in the main events. She should be not what is she 1-6 at WrestleMania or something like that now, or 0-6 or whatever it is. You got Charlotte Flair up there. She could be having classic upon classics upon classics with these higher caliber women, dude. And she's not. She's really not. Naomi, a star in the making. She's going to be there for a long time. I think she should try to ride it out. Considering her family's there. She's got ties there. She got a long way to go. But Sasha's been there now 10 years. It's time to go, dude. Go find your potential somewhere else. And she's going to make
she's already doing the Mandalorian and all that stuff too. So, I don't know. She's injury prone. Donald said in the comments that part is true. Yeah. I don't know, man. Part of me wonders if they end up working it into something. But all I know is, regardless, it's been a while since we've seen something like that, and you hear a lot of people talk about when Stone Cold took his ball and went home. That being said, I've also heard Austin say on multiple occasions since then that was his biggest regret of his career. He wishes he hadn't done business like that. So like I say, the only ones who really know what's going on right now are Sasha and Naomi until we really can see where that goes. I guess we're gonna have to put a pin on that one. Before we talk a little bit about MMA, J-Bone, like I said, we're heading out Friday morning. We're gonna be at Rampage Friday night. How the fuck you feeling heading into Double or Nothing? For those of you guys just tuning in, we will be live on Thursday making our picks for Double or Nothing, and hopefully joined by the homie Ryan from Busted Open. We'll link up with him in Vegas.
I'm excited, man. It's gonna be nice there. The weather's gonna be great. There's gonna be plenty of people enjoying some wrestling, dude. It's gonna be my first AEW show, so pretty pumped about that. But just being in Vegas, man, Sin City, right? What are we gonna do, man? It's gonna be a hell of a time. They ain't ready. Like I said, they ain't ready for us, man. They don't know what they're in for. But I'm pumped about it, dude. You're gonna take me on this roller coaster and get me all scared and shit. So get me all rattled before we head into the show, right? I'm with it. Let's go.
Hey, dude, I'm with it. Like I said, you guys got to make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to be making a vlog of the whole thing. I'll never forget when it was me, Mike, and Justin Hall, I think, went to Cedar Point. I'll never forget getting on the dragster for the first time. And I was like, I couldn't handle people talking shit no more. So I got on it. And then to make matters worse, I ended up in the front car the first time I ever rode it. And I probably said bitch probably like 25,000 times before that thing took off. And man, I'll never forget they were giving Justin such a hard time because he wouldn't get on it. Like he was the only one that didn't get on it. Yeah, man. That was dude, like I said, those
I
were
can
some
handle
days,
roller
so
coasters, man. I should be fine. I just haven't rode one in probably 10 years. So
don't worry. If he screams like a girl, we'll make sure and put
make
it on
sure
a
you get
reel
that
for
on there.
Instagram. Make sure you're following us at KO3C Pod so you can see it.
Look,
Make
man,
sure
none of you backpack margaritas can't hear. You know what I mean?
You know,
right.
Donald, the last time we were down there, we were drinking with Janella at the Nerd Bar. So I don't know, man.
All I can say is if you guys are hitting that roller coaster, don't get the margaritas before.
Dude, I literally was just talking to somebody about that before I was today. I was like, yo, like we definitely got to hit the roller coasters before we get the margaritas. Then once we get the then we get the margaritas.
That should be the order for sure. And then secondly, just pull in that gut, baby. Flex them abs and just make sure that stomach don't drop too bad and you'll be fine.
I'm gonna do it for the vlog. Do it for the vlog, man.
Look here, all right. That's the best part of me being the one that edits this shit. I'm not gonna look like a jackass anyway.
I'm not gonna let myself.
Oh boy.
Hey, I got the pencil, I got the eraser, and I got the delete button. I win.
Yeah.
Hot damn. But yeah, dude, I'm really looking forward to Vegas. I think this is going to be a badass time. Hopefully, we'll run into our buddy Chris Kale from Five Finger Death Punch down there, and Gil, and all the guys over there at Extreme Couture. I'm looking forward to it. Man, Chris Kale isn't a clown, Donald. What do you mean? Come on, man. Hot damn.
He's just
Donald is coming hard.
Donald don't like nobody.
That shit. He said ain't nobody safe. He said ain't nobody safe. But speaking about ain't nobody safe, all right. Did Holly Holm get robbed, yes or no?
I mean, robbery is a very strong word in my opinion when you're talking descriptions of how a fight should be scored, right? Robbery to me is like
I know.
Robbery to me is when it's like a clearly one-sided fight and then it's still somehow ruled the other way, like the home field advantages and stuff. You see it more in boxing, honestly, than you do in MMA. I feel like robbery is definitely a highly overused term in the MMA sphere. Granted, did Holly Holm get fucked out of a decision? In my opinion, definitely. I feel as though
I mean, when you have 8 minutes of riding time, you outstruck her by how many fucking punches? I mean, and again, I understand don't leave it to the judges, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I'm being objective, I think that Catlin Vieira's punches landed more damage on Holly, but I feel like Holly's face just does that when she gets hit. Like every fight, she looks like that. So, like, I mean, I don't know, man. I just find it hard to say somebody won a fight when you got outstruck like that bad.
Yeah, that's why I present I don't think it was necessarily a robbery because to your point, she did have her moments. She had,
no, it was close. Like I scored it 3-2 for it 3-2 for Holly.
So in my opinion, like to what I was, to round out my point, any fight that you can score multiple rounds for in a 5-round fight for the person that you think lost, you can't consider it a robbery, because unless that round was like absolutely decisive,
She did drop her though too. That's the other thing.
yeah, but I feel like watching it back, because I half-assedly watched it live, and then I went back and watched it again after knowing what happened. So I tried to watch it with a clear, like, okay, I don't know what happened, but you can't forget that shit. So and then I see all the rumblings on social media. Even me and you and Kyle had kind of had a couple texts back and forth about it and stuff, and watching it back, I was like, robbery is not the right term. Did she definitely deserve a decision? If it was my scorecards, yes, but robbery, no, in my opinion.
All right, J-Bone, what are you thinking on this one?
I'm with Corey, man. I mean, it's so easy for especially for somebody like me. I couldn't even tell you the criteria for judging a fight, but
I don't think many can, and that's the problem.
For me, just watching the fight back, I would say Holly won that fight. But I'm not the judge. You know what I mean? So it goes back to what you say. Never leaving the judge's hand. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. So, but hey, man. I mean, all in all, good fight. It was a good fight, decent fight.
Yeah.
But that just goes back to the age-old term. You cannot leave it in the judge's hands, because it's who wants to lose.
But
like
so here's the thing, though. Where do you think Holly goes from here, though? Because now
the skid's looking a little rough. The age is looking a little rough now, because like the situation that it's kind of presented itself. Like I said, in the lead up to the fight, I feel as though she usually presents her better self coming off of the layoff. She looked good, in my opinion. So it's not like she necessarily took a step back or anything like that. It's just father time's an inevitable thing. And then with the loss,
but then
with the loss, it's like she loses a lot of that initial direction where she was, so close, in my opinion, still to a title shot. With it being a controversial thing, I could definitely see her not necessarily losing her placement too much. But, like there was a lot of people already complaining about her getting the main event slot and stuff like that, they could have filled it with somebody a little more deserving and stuff like that. And with the loss on paper, I feel as though maybe that spot may be, no longer there, unfortunately, for her. But
hold on though. Here's something.
She still has a great direction forward in her career. It's just what direction, I'm not sure.
So here's the thing with that, though. This is where, again, we get into the problem of the depth of some of the divisions, because, dude, like, if you're really being honest, though, okay, so she lost to Caitlin Vieira here, who was she was 3, something like that. You look down the rest of the top 10, though, there's really not a lot of people that I don't think Holly still doesn't beat, though. That's the thing. Like it's like it's not out of the realm for her to maybe be close back to getting a title shot. I mean, I don't know who she would fight next, but at the same time, like I still don't think she's gonna fall very far. But in my personal opinion, I thought she won that fight. But again, I think this is one of those perfect examples of, I think Caitlin won that fight because Holly's face wore more of the damage, in my opinion. I kind of think that's.
I was sorry. I keep hearing the headset glare. I don't mean to interrupt, but to J Bone's point earlier, I feel as though DC described it best. I don't know if you guys seen his quote or not, but he basically was like hardcore in Holly's favor during the fight with the commentary, and then after the fact with like his shock and his reaction after the fact, and like did multiple social media posts and stuff. But his major point was either he doesn't know what he's watching as like a former competitor, 2 division champion, so on and so forth, that he doesn't know what he's watching in the terms of judging criteria, or the judges are just that bad. It's like, what are we talking here? Because in the rule books, it's so much based upon damage. And to your point, if one person looks more damaged, is that automatically the direction you're supposed to lean? You know,
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So, like, what's the criteria you're searching for? And when it comes to, I
Well,
mean,
and
because
that's the thing,
one
though.
punch, I can go out there and land one single left hook, split the dude open. He's bleeding like a stuffed pig the whole fight. But if he whoops my ass the rest of the fight, I mean, you know what I mean? You can't really go on just the damage alone.
See, and that's why, like I say, I think there needs to be I mean, I don't know what you would do to change like the judging criteria, but I think it needs to be. I think there needs to be like a higher criteria for someone to be a judge. Number one, number two, like you said, it can't always be judged off of damage. But I mean, Donald brought it up. You know, it's something that there's been a lot of talking about. You know, let's take this completely out of combat sports terms for a minute. If you think about it, MMA is the only sport left where the people that are competing don't know what the score is. They don't know where they're at. If you think about it, boxing has open scoring, football, they know the score, baseball, they know the score, basketball, hockey, so on and so forth. Think about like in the Holly Holm situation. If Holly Holm knew that one of those judges had Catlin winning, who knows? Maybe she goes balls out and does. I mean, I'm not saying she tried to coast because she still won the last round, actually, in my opinion. But if you knew that you were down, you know, on one of the judges' scorecards, you'd have to think that would make you, you know, a little bit more urgent or to fight with a little more sense of urgency. But like I said, I mean, it's a very good point when you think about the fact and you put it in the terms of other sports. Every other sport, they know, you know, who's winning. Yeah. I think that would be one way to at least, even if you do have a judge that maybe isn't judging the fight very well, at least you can look and say, well, what the fuck is this guy watching? Because, you know, you can see what his or her score is. Or if you're in the fighters, you know, if you're in the fighter's standpoint for it, at least then you know, okay, I should be winning this fight, but this dude is scoring it here. I have to make it, you know, I have to do something. I think open scoring is great, and I think it's the only way to really change some of that stuff with MMA.
I truly think it's the fastest and easiest way to change the current landscape of MMA with like the quote unquote robberies we're seeing all the time and stuff like that. I think that is the absolute best thing, because not only do the fighters be aware, now these judges they have to stand on their card, if you get what I'm saying, where like as of how it is right now, it's like only the MMA hardcores or something like that are going to see the Aaron Bronstetter or some, you know, name reporter here that reposts the actual scorecard itself with how the actual breakdown was between every judge. You know, like the announcements at the end and stuff are like, depending on who's announcing it, sometimes they'll just say Judge A scores this, you know, like sometimes they don't even necessarily list the name of the judge that, you know, provided X score. So I feel like that would be the fastest and quickest way to implement an actual real change in MMA. And to your point, Kyle, I've heard Dana and people will kind of make the argument against open scoring that, oh, somebody's going to coast and it's just going to make the fight boring.
But
because
I feel like they already do that now.
Yeah.
To your point, I agree with that. And not only that, if you're down and you genuinely have that, like, that dog in you that, you know, Dana refers to and everybody that's in the fight game, like, loves, is, you know, got that grit, is even if you're losing, you see, or you thought maybe you're winning or something along those lines, you see for sure. And then they'll go out there and we'll either see, do they like still just kind of continue to lose the fight, or do they just pour it out there, potentially get finished themselves, but look for what they can do to, you know, get the fight back in their terms, you know. And another point I want to make real quickly as well is, how many times do you hear fighters after the fact or just in general talk about, man, these first 2-3 rounds, they just really blended together, man. I lost track of the time and stuff like that. I thought I won this, but maybe that was actually the third round and stuff like that. Later on in these, title fights and, main events and such, being able to refer back to that scorecard would be huge for these guys, and not just have their coach like, yeah, you definitely won that round. Like what would we have seen in that Rose Carla Esparza fight had she had known she was down on, the majority of the scorecards?
But so, I mean, not to play devil's advocate, like I say, but wouldn't that fall on the responsibility of the coaches though? Because if the coach is sitting there telling you, "Hey, you're winning," hopefully you're fucking winning, right? Or if you're losing, hey, step it up. But now, I mean,
is it though? Because look how much Holly outstruck old girl and had the control time, and they still scored it. I mean,
right. Now,
and I mean, as a coach, if your fighter's doing that, you would think that that's winning a round. So I mean, I can't even say that the corner's giving her bad information.
Now let's take that to like basketball and football and stuff like that. You always see these players who get so frustrated with the scoreboard, how things are going, throughout the game. They get frustrated, and it causes problems. You know what I mean? There's fights on the court. There's hard fouls. Frustration seeps out when you do see the score. So I'm wondering if that would, like you said, it's either going to bring the dog out of you, or could it cause you to get extra frustrated, like in the middle of the fight?
That's on you to have to be able to control it.
I'm winning this fight. Who's fucking judging this fight? I'm winning this fight, and you're judging it like that. Then becomes more frustrating. Not saying it's not a great idea.
Having been in a ring or in jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that, I'd rather know. I would rather know, because at least that way, at least if I know that I'm losing on a card or something like that, I'd rather, bro.
I'm saying so since you
Corey has seen me do it, so I would much rather go out on my damn shield than.
Since you've been there, let me ask you this. So let's say you feel like you're winning the fight, and then you're seeing the rounds of the scorecard and you're down. Does that affect your psyche immediately? Or
sure, it probably would. It might be like, what the fuck? But at the same time, though, again, at least if I know that and I feel like I'm winning them. Look, if I feel like I'm winning the rounds, then they have to at least be close. At least at that point, if I know that I'm down on the scorecard and the rounds were already close, well, then I know I got to just kind of bust my ass a little bit harder, because now I know I'm losing the rounds. For me, like I said, I would rather know. I'd rather know and then try to put it on and then go out on my shield than think I'm winning.
Right. And it could probably affect fighters differently. You know what I mean?
I mean,
there's pros and cons to any change you're going to make, but I mean, realistically, what else are you going to do? The only other solution to any of this. I mean, the only other solution to any of this is the only other solution would be if you came up with new judging criteria. But then again, you got to come up with something that everybody's going to agree on, which as it is, people don't seem to be able to nail down what the criteria is. So at least this way, if you know that this is how the judges that are judging this fight are judging it, then at least you know kind of where you're going heading into the decision.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is fights are so subjective, right? With who's winning based on damage or control or something like that. Like, the only way you could make like a set thing is like, okay, control time outweighs everything, and if you have 5 seconds but she had 6, she wins the round, and then that doesn't make sense at all, in my opinion. So it's like, I agree with the current state of judging, as in like the 10-point must system. I wish that they would maybe implement half points so that you could see, I think it would add a real different element to, like, fights around that could be scored a 10-8, but maybe isn't because they didn't score enough damage or something along those lines. Maybe they get the opposing fighter gets an 8.5, so that it still shows that was a more significant round than just a 10-9. But not enough to meet the criteria if you're at 10-8. So I feel like half points could be interesting. But to what I said earlier, I feel as though the best way is open scoring. It'll really make these judges really kind of stand on what they, I also feel like a great thing too would be if these judges had to make a statement after the fact, especially on like the controversial fights, or at least write like an actual descriptive note in the section below, like why they scored the fight for so, but a lot of that's wishful thinking, in my opinion. Honestly, like I could see them changing. I could
bet
see
those
open
judges don't feel that
scoring.
way. They're like, I'm not getting up there so this guy can be
Yeah.
pissed at me. Follow
Yeah.
me to my hotel room. No thanks.
Like I was trying to think of a way, because to your point, Kyle, every other major sport, or just sports in general for the most part, know where they're at in the competition, whether that be first place, second, or points, or whatever the case be. The only thing I could really think of that would be somewhat close is like heat racing, like where you're placing to, as start your race for like NASCAR or Figure One or whatever, or Formula One or whatever the case be. Because then you're just kind of racing the clock. You don't know where you're at until you cross that line, and
Yeah.
I imagine that's a completely different thing than being in the actual race and working yourself around other cars and stuff to actually work for your placement, which is, open scoring, in my opinion. So I think it would be a great decision, but will we see it in the next 10 years? I doubt it.
I
I
don't
would
think we'll
love
see it in
to,
the
but I
UFC
doubt it.
first either. I think they're
No,
gonna maybe implement that somewhere else. First.
Kansas has Invicta runs a bunch of their shows there, and LFA, I believe, has ran a couple there as well since they've made the rule change. But Kansas Commission, if I'm not mistaken, is Kansas. But they implemented open scoring there. So when events are held there, they are held under the open scoring, as long as the promotion agrees to it. I guess I believe that's the case, at least.
Like I say, I like open scoring. To me, it's a good way to go with it. I don't know, man. Whatever you guys think on, if you guys got any thoughts on this, would you like to see open scoring in MMA? Do you think that would make fights better and all that good stuff? Well, dude, I feel like we've pretty much covered most everything that there is to talk about on a Tuesday, dude. All I know is I'm ready for Friday to get here and we can get the fuck out of here and go to Vegas. And before we get out of here, that was the other thing I needed to talk about. Shout out to our guy, Justin James. His fight with Julian Lane is no longer happening. So, like I say, hopefully heal up soon, brother man. He also will be, he said that they probably are going to run it back in September. So we'll see what happens with Justin James and Julian Lane and all that good stuff. And then, like I said, this weekend you've got Double or Nothing. You've got Rampage. We're going to be there. Like I said, make sure you follow all the social media so you can see a little bird's eye view of what's going down. We're going to link up with the homie Mega Ran down there. And, they always say what happens in
like a little girl on a roller coaster.
I mean, that's worth the price of hitting that subscribe button anyway. But with that being said, I mean, we might have to give him a different name from J-Bone after this weekend. But if I don't melt and make it back from Vegas, like I said, we'll have some good stuff for you. Like I said, we appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, this Thursday we'll be making our full picks for Double or Nothing. We'll pick the whole card, tell you who we think's going to win. Hopefully we'll have a little drop in from our buddy Ryan McKinnell from Busted Open. If you got any Busted Open fans in here, like I said, make sure you hit hit that subscribe button. Kathy, you might have to get bail money together, but see, the problem this time is it's more than just me and J-Bone. It's just more than just me. So like J-Bone would need bail money. But
I'm bringing all the trouble, man.
If you're choosing and I get to be the one that gets chosen to be bailed out, I mean, J-Bone, I love you, brother man, but
hey,
I'm not trying to sit my ass in the clink.
We're gonna put Vegas in the mercy, bro. They ain't ready for knockouts and 3 counts. I'll tell you that. It's going down. You're gonna see that still frame of us walking out of Vegas, and the Vegas sign's gonna be on fire. It's just gonna be like that. I'm telling you, we're gonna turn it upside down. It's gonna be crazy.
Donald was talking about clowns. Let's hope that we don't come back looking like clowns, seeing as we're seeing it circus. So, like I said, it's going to be a good time. You got to make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of it. And like I said, come this Thursday, we'll give you our full picks for Double or Nothing. If you guys are watching, let us know who you got. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tell a friend, leave a review, and I'll read it on the show. Peace, love, chicken grease. Fuck your couch.